Hey there guys, so I'm back with one more review of The Mandalorian, and this time it's the finale, The Rescue. Oh my god, I don't know where to start this episode. So this episode was written by Jon Favreau and it's directed by Peyton Reed, the same guy who did Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the second episode, The Passenger, which was a solid episode, but it was at its core a filler episode. So in my mind, I thought Jon Favreau was going to direct this one. I had a really good feeling. And then it was Peyton Reed, and I was like, okay, I'm happy with that. He's a great director. He's probably one of the more experienced directors for The Mandalorian. So yeah, I was okay with it. But oh my god, everything about this episode, the action, the pacing, the setup, the ending, the way it ends some of the storylines. I mean, the score, oh my god, this is the best episode they used the score. I mean, there's some really great scores. I mean, there's some callbacks to like John Williams stuff, of course, but oh my god, this episode was just perfection. And I'm going to say this is my favorite episode, not just for season 2 but for season 1. And the finale of season 1 was like my favorite episode, but then this episode really just kicked it up a notch. I mean, it wasn't scared to take risks, and there was stuff I was really worried about. I mean, for years, I mean for a while I've been saying I wish The Mandalorian was just its own self-contained story. Do not connect it to, I don't mind connecting it to like the Clone Wars and Rebels and the comics, but connecting it to the movies, that's really nervous. I mean, I just wanted it to be its own self-contained story, but I was wrong. It did a great job of what it is, and yes, this episode is just perfection. At the beginning of the episode, there's a lot of tension between all these characters. I mean, that one scene when Dr. Bashing has got a gun to his head and you got Cara Dune who's got the shot, but the Imperial shuttle cruiser pilot is just winding him up saying, I was there on the Death Star. And you could tell that Cara Dune deep down just wants to kill him, but she tries to be funny, like, oh yeah, which one? Haha, no, nice try. And just shoots him, and he doesn't care if he hurts Dr. Bashing by doing that. Yeah, and the one scene, and it kind of like when Boba Fett and Din Djarin goes to that canteen, whatever, and they pick up Cos Greaves and Bo-Katan, and they're not interested straight away. I mean, I'm guessing when we last saw them, their plan didn't work so well, and I think the guy that was with them in the third episode, I think he got killed off. That's my idea. But you could tell, like, you know, in the third episode when like Din Djarin was saying that Mandalore was just cursed, and even Boba Fett says like the Empire turned that planet into glass, and you could just tell they were not interested at all. But you know, when they tell them, actually, we know where he is, we can help you get the Darksaber as long as you help me get the child. That was great stuff, and that battle, and when Bo-Katan says, if we showed that effort against the Empire, we wouldn't lose Mandalore. So yeah, there was just some great tension between these characters, some really great setup, and oh my god, this is a really, as a Star Wars fan, there's this moment that turns me on. I mean, seeing the 4 women, Cara Dune, Fennec, Bo-Katan, Cos Greaves going down that Imperial cruiser to get to the bridge, kicking ass, shooting from left to right. You know, it's kind of like that scene in Avengers Endgame when you see all the female superheroes come together for that one scene, and I feel like it's a great moment, but it feels so forced and so cliche. With this, it felt more natural, and I just love these characters. I mean, they kick ass. But yeah, there's some really great moments. The Dark Troopers are pretty much the T-800 of Star Wars. I mean, they're indestructible. I mean, one was just bad enough when Din Djarin was just trying to kick his ass. Everything from the blaster, flamethrower, the mini darts. And the only way we used it, I mean, of course you used the staff, but that was a lucky shot. And even when you put them into space, they still came back. That showdown between Moff Gideon with the Darksaber and you have Din Djarin with the Beskar staff was just epic, beautifully choreographed. And at first I thought they weren't going to have a battle because Moff Gideon doesn't want the child anymore. He just wanted to study his blood. As long as you leave me alone with the Darksaber, you can go and leave. And I thought, okay, but he just misleads him and he slaughters him at the first half. But then he picks back up with the Beskar staff, kicks his ass. It was beautifully done. And when he says, oh, you're letting me leave? This should be interesting. I thought, I think I know where this is going. And when they go to the bridge and like you see that sense of dread in Bo-Katan's face, it should have been her to take down Moff Gideon and reclaim the Darksaber. And like, And he's like, I don't want this, you can take it, I give it up, you can have it. But it doesn't work like that. Even though we've seen it different in Star Wars Rebels, how Sabine gives her the dark saber, I think that was a different thing. I mean, really, she had her own destiny, but this was just, wow, you could just see the sense in her dread. You could tell she has to kill him or take him down. That was great. And when the Dark Troopers come back on board, and oh my god, how they're going to do this, and like they're just punching through the door, and I thought, oh my god, this is going to be it. And at the last minute, an X-Wing comes, and I thought, oh my god, no, it can't be. And for a long time, we all thought, hardcore Star fans thought it was going to be Ezra from Star Wars Rebels. And okay, I think Luke Skywalker was kind of the second option, but I thought Luke Skywalker would have been such an easy choice, and I thought, how are they going to do that? Are they going to get a different actor? Are they going to get like a really CGI him? Yes, they did CGI him, but as soon as I saw that X-Wing, I thought, oh my god, it's about to go down. You see that cloaked hood, black uniform with the green lightsaber, slashing down the Dark Troopers, left, right and centre, and that hallway sequence, so reminiscent to Rogue One. It's just amazing. That's what we always wanted to see Luke Skywalker to do ever since back in like Return of the Jedi. Yes, we saw him back in the sequel trilogy, but he didn't really do it. I mean, he did stuff, of course, but he was just a teacher. He was just pushing the narrative forward. Yes, he had that showdown between Kylo Ren, but it wasn't really a showdown. They didn't really clash lightsabers with each other. I mean, but this is what we wanted from him. I mean, oh my god. I mean, and it really fits the character. If it was Stormtroopers, I would have been a bit hesitant about it because he's a man of peace. But as long as they're droids, it was just great to see it. And yes, okay. And it was Mark Hamill for a certain degree. I mean, the CGI is questionable, but it's great. It's no different to what we've seen before in like Tarkin in Rogue One and in Marvel films. If it was an episode, I think it would have been very distracting. For one scene, it was fine. It was just great. I mean, they only use it for small doses, and I was happy with it. But seeing Luke Skywalker again just pleases me. And bringing Luke Skywalker made the most sense. He's trying to rebuild the Jedi Order to train a new generation of Jedi, and we'll see that at some point. I mean, 20 years time, I mean, the Jedi was just all wiped out again. But yeah, it makes the most sense, and it was just so great to see Luke Skywalker again. The Luke Skywalker I know from Return of the Jedi. Not the sequel trilogy, even though I like the sequel trilogy of Luke Skywalker, but this was just amazing. And seeing R2-D2 again was great, of course. I mean, it was just, it hit me on an emotional level. But Din Djarin saying goodbye to Grogu, let him go, really hit me. You could tell he didn't want to let him go. But we'll see each other again, I promise. And I thought that was just great. And the way the episode ends was just like the closing doors. And I thought, oh my god, is that it? I mean, yeah, that was amazing. So this is my predictions to Season 3 and the future of Mandalorian. So we'll see Grogu again, but I don't think he's going to be the central focus. I think the next story arc, and I liked how this really, it felt like the ending of The Mandalorian, even though it kind of wrapped up the story arc, but it opened the door to a new storyline. So he has the Darksaber now, and you could tell Bo-Katan has no choice but to kill him or somehow cripple him in order to reclaim that so she can restore order to Mandalore. Unless he has to be the one that restores order to Mandalore or find a suitable subject. But I think he has to do it, and along the way he probably has to find a way to reclaim Mandalore, and I think he doesn't want to, but at the core he needs a destiny, and he can't just go back to bounty hunting after this, and which is great, and I liked it. And we'll see Grogu again at some point, but yeah. And the post-credit scene, oh my god, when we saw those twin suns on Tatooine and we see Jabba's palace again, and it takes place like, I don't know, 5 or 7 years after Return of the Jedi, and you see Bib Fortuna, who kind of takes over Jabba's role, who was kind of like his assistant, and he's like pull on weight, he's kind of like the new kingpin, and you see like Fennec and Boba Fett just taking over, and like Bib Fortuna is like, oh, you're back, oh good, and he's like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, and he sits on the throne, and it was like, oh my god moment. And you can say like the book of Boba Fett coming December 2021. I was like, oh my god. And I know there's some confusion about that. Is this going to be like season 3 of Mandalorian, or is this going to be a limited series? It's going to be a limited series. I know a week before they announced like 10 Star Wars shows, but they didn't announce a Boba Fett series. I can understand why they did it. I mean, this is way better. They announced it in this way. If they did it, it would have been kind of obvious. Oh, they're going to set up Boba Fett. We knew that last week. But no, this made way more sense. I mean, and it's great. I mean, it's going to be a limited series, and I'm hopefully this series is going to be maybe 6 or 8 episodes, but we'll also get to see how he got out the Sarlacc pit after Return of the Jedi. So yeah, I cannot wait for the Boba Fett series and Mandalorian season 3. Season 2 has been great, better than series 1, and I love series 1, but the episode The Rescue, directed by Peyton Reed, is my favourite episode. It was such a self-contained story. It also had that little pieces of the original trilogy. Luke Skywalker felt natural. It made the most sense to bring him back. We'll see Ezra again, but I think he'll come back in the Ahsoka series. That's my assumption now. But yeah, it was amazing. It was perfection. It was a 10 out of 10. I cannot wait to see what happens in season 3. I mean, yes, I think he has to be the new guy to take over Mandalore and restore order to it. That's my assumption. But yeah, I cannot wait for series 3 and all the other Star Wars shows. I mean, this was better than Rise of Skywalker by miles. This was probably better than the original, better than the sequel trilogy. But yeah, it's an end of an era. I can't wait to see what happens next.